Hey guys. Good morning. Okay, so I'm a little bit late, but I did come on today. So, today I wanted to talk to you guys about your true self. We're continuing this discussion about being aligned, but I'm seeing a lot of you guys, your gifts are emerging, but you're feeling like there are obstacles, or you're feeling challenged by maybe the obstacles that are popping up. And most of those come from the mind. We talked a lot about that in the last live, which if you missed that one, you can always catch them on my Facebook page. They stay on there. And the Facebook page is, you just type in Discover Your Energy, and that will take you to the right page. Okay. So if you are joining live, please say hi, wave, or leave an emoji, or just say hi really quickly. And if you have questions, if things come up for you during this live, then please go ahead and ask. That's what I'm here for. I want to make sure to give you guys time and answer questions as they come up for you. So I definitely wanted to share a little bit about my story with going through becoming more of my true self. I think that will help some of you guys out, and to also see the struggle, because sometimes we look at people, people who we think are tapped in, or who are like, on it, into their gifts, gurus or masters, we look at them and go, oh, they really know what they're doing. And sometimes I find myself saying that about people. Like, I'm always saying to my husband, I'm always saying, wow, that person's really tapped in. I wish I knew my thing. And as I say that, I'm always like, wait a second, I know my thing, but we forget, right? And we make it this dramatic, challenging path. And yet, usually our gift is like right there. It's just who you are. But yet we make it this challenge, and we make it this struggle, and we shy away from it for all these reasons. And so today I wanted to talk about some of those reasons, some of those things that come up, and I wanted to kind of share a little bit about my struggle with it, so that you guys can see that sometimes it's just about, you have to keep realigning yourself. You have to keep reminding yourself. And then also offer this to you guys, for you guys that come on and you're just emerging into your gifts and you're not sure what they are. I know that can also be a challenge, because I remember back to when I didn't know, I didn't have awareness about what my real gifts were. And I was very frustrated in my life. Everything was falling apart and away from me. I'm going to get into that in a little bit of a story today. But what I want to put out there is be thinking about, if you need support, then to reach out, to somebody who feels aligned with you, who can help you get to really knowing what your gifts are and work through that so that you can feel supported. That was really important in my journey, was finding teachers, finding people who I really truly aligned with, who provided space for me so that I could emerge more into my gifts and really shine. So if you don't have that, then maybe set the intention for that, for looking for that. I do offer sessions for people. I also offer longer term work with people. And yet I also know I'm not the right person for everybody. Sometimes I even will tune in with somebody, talking to them about their gifts, and then I get oh, you're supposed to work with so-and-so, or you're supposed to be studying with this person or studying that person. So sometimes I can help you, kind of nudge you towards, what is the right kind of person or things to be looking at. I'm all about trying to help you really get more into your path, because I see, even for myself and the people that I know who are on their path, it really helps you feel more connected and just a sense of like your purpose, and it brings you more peace when you when you have discovered what your path is, what your purpose is, and what your gifts are. It just gives you kind of this sense of peace, even if you have to work, alongside embracing your gifts. You do want to be adding in things that definitely correlate to your gifts, and so you feel like you are, giving them time. There's something to be said about allowing yourself to be passionate about something, or have a little bit of an obsession about, your gift or the things that you're passionate about, allowing yourself to have that time, because we're always saying, I don't have time for this, I don't have time for that, and sometimes feeling guilty about what we do and don't have time for. So I'm going to get into that right now, because that was the first thing I wanted to talk about, which was how do you allow yourself to be passionate about something? Because if you do have a gift, which if you're watching this and you're aligned with this topic, you probably do have a gift, but then maybe sometimes you get off track. And the reason we get off track is because we allow other things or beliefs or, I don't know, guilt, that kind of stuff to come and creep up and make us feel like we're not supposed to be completely doing that thing, that we are supposed to be dedicating our time to family. And there's even this concept of feeling balanced that we all talk about, that we want to have more balance in our lives. And yet, how are you supposed to be passionate about something and have balance? Like, those two things don't really work together. Okay, like if you think of the best inventors, if you think of artists, if you think of your favorite athlete, your favorite celebrity, somebody who does something really well. Like we just went to see John Mayer in concert, and I'm always like, wow, he plays guitar amazing, and how can he do that? He's so good at it. And that is, to me, somebody who's truly living in their gifts. And yet, if you look at them, they are kind of obsessed. Like, their life is pretty much dedicated to that thing. And they would probably say to you, yeah, my life's out of balance. Because we have this thing that's out there, and I don't even know how this got out there. I guess with, meditation people, and we always talk about finding peace and finding balance in your life, but I'm kind of looking at that in a different way now. I'm seeing it as that can actually cause problems for people trying to fit that in, trying to make balance in your life. If you are truly wanting to dedicate yourself to your purpose, there are going to be things that take a higher priority. It's going to be about you allowing yourself to have those things be a priority and be okay with that. Now, this is something that came up for me in my life, and I had to make a very brave change in my life. So before this life, I was living a whole other life. I had a business. It was a balloon and helium supply company, and I was married, and I was living this very busy life of very dedicated to this business that we started and grew from nothing and turned it into this like $1 million a year business. And we were pretty much obsessed with it. I mean, it was something that we grew from nothing, and we nurtured it and gave it all of our time and effort and all of that. And it definitely paid off. Like, the rewards from that were amazing. But at the same time, it also was something that I never felt truly connected to. And I think my mate at the time also felt the same. And so it felt very much like, over time, I started to realize that I wasn't truly living my purpose. Like, being a balloon person, having this business, it wasn't my purpose. I felt very disconnected. I felt like my head was in a cloud all of the time. I didn't feel very blissful or happy. We say money can help buy happiness, but it did that at times, which was great. But it wasn't really my passion. It wasn't something that I felt like I wanted to wake up every day and talk about with others and share. And so at some point, this came up, and I had to deal with it, and it was growing, and I felt more and more frustrated and agitated. And at some point, it really started to become apparent that my mate and I were thinking about it differently, and we both had different values. And our situation, even with the business, we had different values in that and what we wanted for it. And it became clear that at some point we weren't going to agree on any of this. And then we tried to compromise and make it work. But all that kind of kept happening was that we were allowing ourselves to speak and have our truths known, which was actually very brave for the both of us. It took a lot for us to be able, from a very loving place, to be able to do that and be brave about it, because it's one of those things, I think, that you can be scared to bring up, because if you do, that it could change the course of your entire life. And that's what happened. I mean, that's pretty much what happened for us. And I have to say, I'm really proud that we did that. I think that a lot of people, though, don't do it. They allow all these things, like saying, well, I need to have more balance in my life, and I need to, I feel guilty if I'm taking time out for myself and doing this thing I'm passionate about and not being there, for my family. I hear so many things when people come to me for sessions, so many objections and so many obstacles that people have. And I have to say that if you allow that thing to be the thing to stop you, you're never going to get to realizing your true gifts. Because if you're going to get there, if you're going to know your purpose, you have to allow yourself to really step into that place of, I'm going to allow myself, I'm going to jump off the high dive and I'm going to go full in on this. And I'm not saying to not do it. I'm not saying to do this and not tell your family, right? Or to be considerate of the people around you. But you do have to say it from a place, and you have to say it from a place of love, but you have to say it from a place of you're in your integrity with it, that you are fully aligned when you're saying it. And I usually tell people, if you are aligned in that way, generally you're doing it from a higher place anyway. So you have to trust that whatever does come from that, or whatever happens as a result of being in your integrity, actually is the very thing that needs to happen. So if you're feeling challenged or held back, let's say, for example, in a relationship, I mean, that was a situation I was in, and I see this actually for a lot of people that come to me. They feel challenged because they feel like, you know what, I know where I'm supposed to be headed, and yet being here in this relationship, it's not happening there. And then they feel like, well, but I should stick around. I don't want to break their heart. I hear that all the time. And people feel like they're supposed to stay. You know, I also hear people say, I have to stay until my kids turn 18. I hear that all the time. And truthfully, if you're doing that, that means you're breaking your integrity. And that can be felt energetically by everybody. Okay, so you yourself are going to be tormented and feel like you're being tortured and suffering. But then energetically, that gets emitted, and everyone around you is going to feel it, including your kids. And I usually tell people, kids are the first to call you out. They're going to be the ones to be like, Mom or Dad, why are you doing this? Like, we know what's going on. You know, they usually know, okay? Because they are more pure. They don't have all the beliefs and the patterns and the limitations and the stuff. Usually, I mean, they start to. At a certain age, that stuff starts to kind of build up. But usually kids, the younger they are, the more pure of heart they are, and the more that they're just going to feel it and call you out. So if you're not living in integrity, the people around you will know it. So the moment that you're able to step into your integrity, then that is going to be felt by everybody. And while you may feel like it hurts or it hurts someone else to actually be in that space, you are actually serving the greater good. You're actually saying, okay, I am being me, and that's true. That's truth. And when you do that, you have to do it from a place of, I'm going to release and surrender what happens next. I'm going to allow everything, the chips to fall where they may, and they will. Things are going to things will shift and things will change when you allow for that to happen. But if you're in this place of trying to keep everything controlled, that's going to create suffering for you. Okay. So sometimes what I say to people is allow this to happen over time. Like, you don't have to do all of this in one night. It's definitely a process. So sometimes it's okay to express your truth, and then other times you want to allow yourself to just be and what I say is then meditate through that and be in the space of, I'm just going to be quiet and still. Okay, because you have to give yourself the opportunity to actually hear, you know, and feel, and you can only do that by being quiet and still, to feel and hear whether this is your truth or not. Okay, and it will reveal itself. It will reveal itself. It even reveals itself in things that go on in your life. So a lot of times I'll look to somebody's timeline and we'll break apart, you know, their timeline and look at all of the markers along their path, all of the things that happened that were significant things that they may be judging as, wow, this was like a negative thing that happened in my life. And yet when they look at all of these things from their spirit eyes as opposed to their ego, when they look at them from their spirit, then they're able to see, wow, okay, that happened for a reason. That it was actually directing me. It was actually trying to show me that I'm on the right path. And maybe I just need more information, better teachers, to be meditating, to be, you know, tuning into this more, to be allowing it more. It just brings up the things that you really truly need to be dedicating yourself to more. Now that's where we get tripped up and we stop, because then we go, well, wait, okay, so I'm supposed to give this more time. Like, say, for example, I know for me, it was about getting out to meditation classes for myself. Okay. I was a person that would just work from home. I never went out. I never had friends. I never allowed myself to go do things. I just worked. That was my life before. It was just constant, 24/7, working for my business to make it work. Okay. And at some point, this part of me that was true, this gift that I had since birth, was calling to me, and it showed up, and it always shows up to you in obnoxious ways first, because you're not giving it attention. So a lot of times it will be like, for me personally, because I have mediumship gifts, and this will be different for everyone, but for me personally, it showed up as like loud noises at night, light shows at night, spirits coming to me, and being very aggressive about that. I had, like, people will say, oh, the feeling of me being held down. I had that at times. All that kind of stuff would come up. And, and I was in a place of thinking, at first you think you're going crazy, but that's not what that is. That's actually, you've been basically not giving proper attention and learning to those gifts. You haven't given yourself the time. You have not had the true master or teacher to show you how to deal with that, because in this society, we don't accept it. It's like worthless or something in our society. And in other tribes and other cultures, they see those things as gifts. And they have a shaman, a person who can help people who show signs of those gifts. That shaman can then help initiate them into them. And we don't have that, right? Well, we do. I shouldn't say we don't, but in our culture, it's just not that accepted. There's so much out there about beliefs about it being evil, or that there's something wrong, or doctors want to label it, that you're crazy, or there's something bad about it. And I had to fight all of that. I had to go against all of that and instead be brave and be curious about it and go get more help and get knowledge. Now, look, I could have taken the path of, okay, so this is what happened in my personal relationship. He's now my ex, but at the time he was scared of what was happening for me, and he thought that me emerging into that was threatening our relationship. And he also felt like my gifts needed to be subdued. And so he wanted me to basically relent and say, get down on my knees and say, I'm praying to God, and he wanted me to take drugs. That was an actual suggestion from him and from a person that we were seeing. And I had this like visceral, very strong reaction to that. There was something inside of me that was just like, absolutely not. And you're fighting with this. I mean, you're going to somebody for help, first of all, right? And you're putting your trust into this person, thinking that this person is going to help you. And a lot of times, and this is something that I'll tell people when I'm working with them, is even if you hear me make a suggestion to you, you should always walk away from it and use it to your advantage, even if it feels off. If it feels off to you, that's your intuition guiding you. And that's the whole point to that meeting or that meetup with that person, is to give you information. So in that moment for me, it was about me aligning to, well, what is my truth then? If I'm feeling this as a strong no, I need to probably do something brave here. I probably need to step in to something that I have been avoiding and I need to be curious, and I need to get more information, and I need to find my truth with this. And so that then led me to being brave to go do meditation work. And so I went weekly to meditation. And I have to say that that was really probably the first thing that truly started helping me to become more centered, more grounded, to really access my gifts, to really feel more peaceful, to feel more on purpose for myself. Now, I'm not saying that meditation is for everyone. You definitely have to tap into what feels like that next brave step for you. For me, it was definitely about stepping out. And when I say stepping out, I mean stepping away from my everyday regular life that was comfortable, that I just kept doing. And I had to say, okay, I'm going to go do this thing for me and for my true self. And when I did that, it allowed my true self to feel like a little bit of attention, a little bit of peace. And so if you are making those steps towards that kind of like your true self, a lot of times the people around you they'll be threatened by it. And that is exactly what happened in my life. I had, people that were in my life that I thought were there for me. I thought were aligned to me. And then when I took that step towards my true self, it allowed true colors. It allowed the true things to actually kind of show up and other things to like fall away really fast. And so that's kind of the suggestion I have for you, is that if you're really wanting to emerge into your true gifts more, then you have to think about, where do you need to be more brave? What is that thing that you need to be adding into your life? And then also know that there might be consequences. There might be, a shift or a change, or something might happen. But you have to allow that to be, because if you're trying to control it, it's going to cause you even more suffering. And to be honest, like I kind of see this for people that even if they try to kind of keep it under control, it doesn't really work out. Like it just ends up kind of becoming more strong in you. The gifts start to kind of really become more strong. They show up more. And then at some point, it's like either you are going to have to go on and get drugs to subdue some of these things, or you're going to need to get real medical attention if that's the route that you decide to go, or you're just going to have to live in total like ignorance and bliss, and not worry about your gifts, but rather just kind of be in that state of like zombiness. But generally, your gifts just become so strong, or that thing that you're meant to be doing becomes so strong that you'll actually start having strong emotion. A lot of people come to me, and when they sit with me, immediately they start going into an emotional state, like they just start crying and they don't know why. And they're then apologizing, and I'm like, it's fine. It's just, you're at that point now. Your spirit is at that point where it is speaking that you need to actually be doing this. There is some step, for you to take that might feel scary, that is okay. You're just at that point, and you just need the support. You just need to hear that it's okay to do it. So, that when you're at that place, that's simply just a place of, you just have to ask your heart, like, what does my heart need? What do I know to be true? And once you do that, then it's like you're showing up. That's it. And that's all that you have to do, you know, to really truly be in your gifts. And so that's why I say, I think the biggest thing that I wanted to share today was more about giving it time. Not time as in it's going to take a long time, but give your gifts time. Like give your gifts, I'm saying that wrong, attention, okay? Like give them attention. Allow yourself to be passionate about that thing, even if it means something else falls away from you. Okay, even if it means something doesn't get as much attention. I keep wanting to use the word time. But even if it means that, you know, sometimes for people when they're merging into their gifts, they feel guilt come up. I'm going to use this as an example. They feel guilt come up because they have a family. And so they feel guilty because they're like, well, I want to go to this seminar, or I want to go learn this, or I want to do that, or I need to give this more time because I feel it now and I'm feeling strongly that, you know, I want to learn this. And yet they have a family and they feel guilty about not spending time with their family or nurturing their family. And I have to say that if you're going to do that, that's noble. You can try, but most likely your spirit is going to suffer greatly if you do that. And I have seen, I don't want to be so dramatic about this, you guys, but the people that have come to me that are in that predicament, and then they make the choice that, you know, they kind of cross their arms at me like, that's fine. I'm not going to, you know, argue with you, but my family's this important to me. I'm going to continue doing what I need to do for them. I'm not going to go do this thing that, you know, that you're saying, like, to, you know, for my gifts. They go off and they try, and then literally, you guys, like, I've seen people commit suicide. I have seen people have heart attacks and die. That I don't want to be that dramatic with you guys, but I'm like, in a way, oh wow, and I get lit up now saying that. I mean, in a way, it's that you have to hear this. That's kind of, wow, I'm really getting lit up now. So there's somebody watching this that needs to hear this. It has to be that strong. Like for you, I think for you guys, whoever's on that needs to hear this, I don't know if there's a family member around you or somebody who definitely knows what I'm talking about, that maybe lost somebody because they tried to avoid their gifts and they tried to make their family more important. There's something. Wow, so we're having a channeling or something happening right now live. This is fun. So if you think this might be you, go ahead and say if you're on live, or maybe this is somebody who's going to watch the replay. But basically, yes, I've had people come that have basically said, I'm not gonna go there. I know what you're saying. I've had that nagging feeling. I know my gifts. I know what I'm supposed to be doing, but I can't because of XYZ. And then they walk away from me, and I have to detach from you guys. When you walk out my door, I have to just clear myself and I move forward. And all I'm doing is giving you the message, and you have to do something with it. And so if you walk away from it going, I'm going to still stay in this place, then I'm telling you, when I've seen that, it doesn't go well. Okay, so I don't know why I'm having to repeat this or say it this strongly, but it definitely creates the situation of stuckness for people. And then at some point, the body, like your physical body, tells you. So It might be an ache, a pain somewhere. It might be constant headaches. It might be something with your chest. It might be constant stomach cramping or stomach aches. But those are all signs generally that it's now becoming a bigger issue. And if you try to approach this from a place of going to get medical help, like doctors, God bless their souls. I'm not a medical person, so I'm not supposed to be giving medical advice. I want you to think of me more as like a shaman, okay? I don't claim to be a shaman, but that's kind of what I'm trying to tell you is like the category. So I'm not supposed to give medical advice, but what I can tell you is that the physical body will show symptoms when you are not aligned, okay? So that is what I wanted to get across today. I think I did it. I feel like something happened here. I'm not sure what, but it was more about talking about time and attention, okay? Giving that thing your gift, time and attention. So let me be the person that gives you the permission to do that, okay? If you need help with that, if you're watching this and you need help with that, please reach out to me. Let me know, in private message, or you can email me at discoveryourenergy@yahoo.com. Let me know, what you're experiencing, and then I can send you a quick message back to tell you kind of what I get for you on it. Sometimes it's just something as simple as telling you something quick, and sometimes it's, you actually need a session for this. So just let me know if I can help you in any way. And again, if you guys get questions after this live, please go ahead and post them, and I'll be happy to respond here if that's the best way for you to. Okay, so thank you guys so much for watching. I see some people were joining us. Hi guys. I'm seeing people on Instagram and I'm seeing people on Facebook at the same time. So yes, there was definitely some kind of powerful message for somebody out there today. So thank you so much, you guys, for joining, and I definitely appreciate you guys coming on live and sticking around. Say hi once again, and I'll see you guys next time. All right, thanks so much. Love you guys. Bye.